Hi, my name's Nicoly.
Hi, my name is Toni.
And welcome to the Dope Student Podcast.
Okay, our first question for you is, how did you become a motivational speaker?
So, for starters, I always wanted to, be a leader and lead by example. I always knew that my voice was, a beacon of hope for people that really didn't really get their voices heard when I was a young person. So I always was inspired by other folks that were moving in that same path, speakers, hip hop artists, just people that were confident in speaking in front of others. So I found some other people that I know, mentors in my own life that are motivational speakers, and I learned from them. One of the first speakers that I ever seen was actually Common. Y'all know who Common is? The rapper Common?
No.
Dang, yo, that's cool. It's cool. Y'all should look up Common after this. He's old school, but he's a good speaker.
Okay, and what are some of the key messages you try to convey in your speeches?
I'd say some of the key messages I like to prepare young people with the tools to be successful that are inside of them, right? A lot of times we silence the voice inside of us. A lot of negative self-talk, right? We got to switch those things to affirmations and push ourselves to reach our true potential by getting comfortable being uncomfortable and doing the things you never thought you could do,
How do you keep your audience engaged and motivated throughout your talk?
I try to get them involved. I try to talk y'all language, you know what I'm saying? Try to be hip. I'm also a spoken word poet, so I got some experience in those lanes, so.
Okay, how do you tailor your speeches to different audiences and settings?
I try to do my research before I go to schools or before I go to different places. Before I do an event, I try to know who I'm speaking to, different ages, different genders, different backgrounds. But I also try to keep my message universal, and I think that's the beauty in being a artivist, right? I try to make things that support change inside of people. So,
how do you stay motivated and inspire yourself?
It's all about the things that like I have to have an appetite for change. I have to have an appetite for a positive message. So I'm consuming things that are going to push me as a creative, going to push me as a leader, push me as a father, and always learn something in a good way. Good habits, not bad habits.
And how do you measure the impact of your speeches on your audience?
For starters, I like to ask the students' opinion. So how do y'all think I do? You think I'm whack?
Yeah, I think you're cool.
I think you're great.
All right, look, I appreciate y'all. I think y'all pretty good at this too. Here we go. So that's how I do it. I rather y'all be honest with me than something that's on paper. So.
Can you share one of your success stories on who motivated you to do this?
Sure. I'd say one of the really good ones is this, right? At the top of this year, I was able to travel to Kansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma. And it was my first time really going there. I used to be in the Army when I was 18, and that was my first time in Missouri. But this was my first time as an adult being able to really experience things on my own. And it was my first time also speaking inside of prisons and juvenile detention centers. And it was a culture shock. I was kind of intimidated at first when I went in there because I didn't know, if the students or the folks that were in there will relate to what I had to say. But at the end of the day, like I said, I try to keep it universal. Everybody deserves a positive message and to hear that they can, change their life around.
How do you keep up with the latest trends and developments in the field of motivational speaking?
I'm an artist. I think our job is to be the beacons of that trend. Like, we're the trendsetters, and I always remember that. I try to keep my ears to the streets, realize with the young people that I work with, I want to find out what they like. So, like, give me an example. Like, who's your favorite artist or musician?
Lil Durk.
Lil Durk? I like Lil Durk. Check this. One of my classmates when I was in high school, he actually does all the graphic design for Lil Durk. So anything that you see at Lil Durk's concerts that's behind him, my boy does all that. He's from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Shout out to my city. What about you?
I mean, I really like Bad Bunny a lot.
Bad Bunny? Shout out to Bad Bunny's probably one of the biggest artists in the world right now. Why do you think that?
I mean, I really just enjoy listening to his music. I just like his style and pretty much just the way he sings.
I think he's like very diverse too.
Mm-hmm.
He always steps in other lanes and makes sure that his stuff is relevant. So I'm learning from Bad Bunny and Lil Durk. Know what I'm saying?
How do you feel with being nervous before you speak to a class or a big people and a crowd?
Remember how I said you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable? I step into those feelings. I feel like every school or any place I ever go to, my first couple steps going like right in front of Mayfair, right? I start thinking like, dang, should I go in there? Are the kids gonna boo me? Am I gonna be whacked today? Do you think I'm always really good at speaking, or you think sometimes I take L's?
Sometimes you take L's.
We all take L's, but when you work hard like Kobe Bryant, you never taking an L. I don't take losses, I take lessons. I might come in here and not reach every single student, but I'm gonna find out how I can get better. So it's never an L.
Yeah, none of us are perfect when it comes to this. So,
It's okay.
also, can you share a personal story of how you overcome a challenge or obstacle in your own life?
Yeah, sure, I can. I'd say, All right, so I got a band, y'all. I don't know if I told y'all that. So I told you I'm a poet, but I actually have music online, like, but I got a band that I kick it with, and when I first got presented with the opportunity to work with musicians and to put my music over live instrumentation, I just thought it was going to be fun. Um, One of the hardest parts about having a band is to navigate different personalities and manage different personalities. Very similar to working at a job, but you're dealing with personal feelings and you're dealing with people that you love. So one thing that I try to tell myself, nobody works for me. I don't like working for people like a job. Like sometimes you might have a boss. I don't really want my boss to treat me like I'm their employee. I want us to work together. And if you make me feel like I'm a part of a family, then cool. And I learned to do that with the people that work alongside of me. They don't work for me. They work with me. They make me a better musician, a better person.
How do you balance your speeches?
How do I balance my speeches? I try to stay versatile. I always keep a different message for a different audience. You know what I mean? And I'm always sharpening my pen. So as a poet, right, I have to figure out new things to talk about that are not the same old. But there's this saying, right? Don't fix it if it ain't broken. So if you're doing a good thing, you should keep on doing that thing until you gotta, elevate and evolve to the next step.
And how do you continue to improve and develop your skills as a speaker?
I try to learn from those that have done this before me. And again, like stay versatile, like be diverse in those folks that I'm paying attention to, right? Like I'm not just paying attention to Martin Luther King. I'm paying attention to, Tupac Shakur. I'm paying attention to John F. Kennedy. I'm even paying attention to people that may have not been positive influences in the world, but they were great speakers. Like, for lack of better terms, I'm paying attention to like people that were really able to inspire the masses, even if they're using propaganda, because I want to know how to fight against the things that are holding my people back. So,
What is your advice to students who want to become motivational speakers when they grow up?
find your purpose. Always stay rooted in your why. Figure out, only speak on things that you have experienced yourself or things that you really feel well versed in, and always know that you can get better, right? Speak about the things that are going to push you and motivate you. If you were a young person that's in the crowd, what would you want to hear? What's going to get you out of dark space? And always remember, not everybody in the room is ready for a positive message. So you always got to have something in the tucky for that person in the back that doesn't really want to speak to somebody that got their head down, that doesn't really feel good today. Like that person deserves to hear a good message too, but you got to meet them where they are. So.
Okay, so that was it for today's podcast. And would you like to hashtag your social media platforms?
Heck yeah, let me do I didn't do my intro in the beginning. Can I do my intro?
Yeah, you can do your
Yes,
intro. We
Alright,
can put it
cool.
in.
Let's get it. The dedication get different. Repetition with the mission got the gift, and if you need it, call me. It's the hope dealer, the self-talker, Sir Dominique Jordan, the prolific one. At Sir Dominique Jordan, the prolific one. Thank y'all. Shout out to the Dope Student Podcast.
Thank you for
Thank
having.
you.
Thank you.
So that was it for today's interview. So I'll see you guys in another episode of the Dope Student Podcast.
Bye.
Bye.